What's up, everybody? Steve Majora here, and this is my new single called Keep Truckin'. And it's a super fun session with some really fantastic performances by some amazing people that are very dear to me. So yes, let's check it out. Now this tune, this was really fun to mix. It was really difficult for me to mix because there's a lot going on and there's a lot going on the entire time, which was kind of the point of the tune, hence it being called Keep Truckin'. It just keeps powering through from the beginning to the very end, and trying to make that dynamic and trying to make that interesting after, 3 minutes is not an easy task. And I think I did a pretty good job with it, but you can let me know in the comments what you think, and also back it up with how you would mix it yourselves. So here we go. Let's just take a listen to the tune. Yeah. So as you can tell, lots going on there. We got some kick butt drums from Mr. Jake Hayden himself over at the Hayden Studio in Van Nuys, California. And we've got guitar from the incredible Kim Melville from Paris, France. And we got background vocals from me. We've got some organ that I did, and then I programmed bass on this too. I think initially I played live bass on it, and then I hated my bass performance, so I just I used a virtual bass, and it ended up just working out a lot better. So let's dive in here. Let's start with the drums. Now, as you can see, I do have some things muted out. I decided to mute out the sub kick. It was just a little too low for what I wanted, and I wanted something. The kick out was massive enough in what Jake sent. And then I also muted out the mono room mic. I just didn't feel like I needed it. So let's just listen to these and what we have here. Some incredible tones, and I'm always stoked when Jake sends me stuff because his gear and his knowledge of how to mic a drum kit just to sound natural is mind-blowing. I love it. So kick in, kick out. I didn't do anything on the individual channels. I ended up using I had the virtual mix rack on this one, on the big rock kick preset. And a channel EQ. Snare, we had the CLA drums. And being sent out to a chroma verb. I think it's a snare chamber or drum chamber. Yep. Rack tom, floor tom. With a virtual mix rack. And I was going back and forth quite a bit between the virtual mix rack and the Chris Lord Algae drums sound. And I do like what I ended up on. The kind of a blend between the two is where I went. And, I tried a bunch of different stuff on a lot of this, and it just ended up, I didn't want to use all of it. So there's still some plugins that are on here that are just disabled, and that's because I didn't clean it up. But you can kind of see where I was thinking and what I was doing while I was doing it. So again, I'm going back and forth between the virtual mix rack and the CLA drums. CLA drums, for me, they work on some stuff. They work on a lot of stuff, and they're a really great plugin, but I wanted to differ it up. I didn't want it to be just ham all the time. So the kick, I ended up using the virtual mix rack on the snare. I used CLA on it, used CLA on the toms. I used virtual mix rack on the hi-hat, and then I used CLA for the ride, overhead, and the room. And then shaker and tambourine, we also have going to the, and these kind of go back and forth. I used the tambourine on the choruses and the bridge and solo. And on the second verse, I used the shaker, which is the Shaker 01 from Logic, which is arguably the best shaker ever recorded. I would say that. I use it on everything, and you've heard it probably on every single one of my songs if you've mixed more than this one. Oh no, this is the metal shaker. So the metal shaker one. It's a little more rattly. I take all that back. Tambourine, this is again just Apple Loop. And I went back and forth between, I think, 2 or 3 different types of tambourines on here, mainly just so that I could get different patterns, on the chorus. And it's the accents for me, is what matters. So I'll take the whole, here, we can just go and look at this right now. So if I go tambourine in the search bar, no accents. So it sounds like I was going back and forth between tambourine 4, tambourine 2, and tambourine 1. And tambourine 2 here, probably what I ended up doing with tambourine 2 is just cutting it down and just flying them around as little regions. It's the easiest way that I've known how to do it. And it's always tucked in the back anyway, so I'm never too worried about it. And then I'm sending this out to the drum chamber from Chroma Verb. With the drums. Back to the shaker for the reintro, and then bringing in a cowbell on the verse. And the cowbell is MIDI, and I was using the Brooklyn kit from Logic. So I did leave this MIDI in here. I also left in MIDI for the bass, and I think I left in MIDI for the organ, as well. The organ, I used my Nord for it, but I had the MIDI in here because I had demoed it out using the vintage B3 from Logic, and then ended up using the Nord for the final. And then bass MIDI, I used this plugin called Bass Fingers, which is a great plugin. It's got a lot of cool presets and stuff on there, and it sounds eerily like a real bass player if you finesse it correctly. So all of these MIDI tracks are in there in the session, ready to go for you. Let's listen to the groove with the bass. which is cool because it's rock and roll, but it's also kind of disco-y, which I have a fun time with. And then what I did here with the bass is I sent it out an aux to a bunch of fuzz stuff. So there is a bass fuzz thing going on out of bus 33, and there's a print for that as well. Just getting it super grindy and messed up, which I think is really fun. So there's a print in here for you, as well as I just have these plugins disabled here on the aux track. And all of my automation and stuff is in there for you too, if you want to use it. If not, you've just got the bass fuzz print, which is a separate from the actual bass track itself. And what I could have done is I could have gone through and muted it out and everything, but I wanted to leave the automation so that you could have the entire print and I didn't have to worry about, sending you only what I kept. You can do whatever you want with it. And that's the beauty of this program. But just to give it a little extra grit, a little just extra. So let's dive into vocals. So there's a lot going on here. Again, I've got another print of this for you, as well as an aux track if you do have these plugins. I added a driver to the lead vocal off an aux, and I just cranked that thing up as high as it would go from the one knob driver from Waves. And then I also put in a bit of a low pass here just to get some of that, the highs kind of, we didn't need them. And then around the 250 range, I just cut a bunch of mud out of there.
It's going out of my mind. Feels like I can't find no time for me to get away. Oh, I gotta get away. Ain't gonna take no more lips, son. I gotta find.
Again, this is the SM7B through the Cloud Lifter into, this time, my Audient ID4, which I have conveniently right here off screen, but my desk is dirty, so I'm not going to show you. So vocal, we've got
a better situation than I'm facing.
de-esser, we've got warm vocals, surprise, surprise. We've got the compressor with the slow attack and release. Adaptive limiter, a little faster attack and release on a compressor. And then I started just cleaning up a bunch of this stuff. So low end, boosting a little bit on the high end, cleaning up some stuff there. Pop vocal male legendary and the RVox, and then sending it to the Slate, sending it to the Valhalla, and then a vocal delay, a vocal driver, and another tape delay.
Ooh, I gotta stay awake.
And this is the fun thing, right? So I've got this lead vocal driver. It's being sent out of an aux. I'm just going to work off the print here for you so you can see, but I've got it muted all over the place because I don't want to hear the breaths in the driver at all. That would just sound like something falling off of the back of a truck instead of something continuing to engage in the act of trucking. So I've got these muted out here. The print already has the mutes kind of in there. So let's just listen to what the print is.
Keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, cause there's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day, till I find me a better way. I gotta keep trucking, till I find the place I know's gonna work for me.
And I've got this automated with the lead vocal to just sit back there. And then in the bridge, it just takes a huge step forward, right? So let's just go to here, second verse.
Yeah, it's no surprise. Fighting mile after mile.
Without,
to close my eyes, gotta stay awake.
With,
Ooh,
and it just beefs it up a little bit.
'Cause I've been sleeping for most of my life, letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the world from passing me by. Wanna get more out of life, so I gotta keep trucking, keep trucking.
And again,
letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the world from passing me by.
it just adds a little extra girth to it, which I think helped cut through a little bit more. And then I've got vocal doubles, right? So these vocal doubles, hard pan right and left, and they just kind of come in on the chorus and the bridge there. So let's listen with.
I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking.
Without, with.
There's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way. I gotta keep trucking, till I find the place I know's gonna work for me.
And it just makes this nice, nasty vocal that I really wanted just to kind of pop out over the top of everything else that's just hammering away on this tune, right? Background vocals, we've got some noise gate, we've got some virtual mix rack going on. Again, warm vocals, channel EQ, and RVox. I try not to get too crazy with this one because
I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking.
and again, it's just two, right? Just rock and roll, one per side.
Keep trucking. No one gonna save me. Pushing through. I just gotta keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking. Trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking. No one gonna save me. Pushing through the night and day.
For a nice little three-part harmony there, right?
I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking. 'Cause there's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way. I gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking till I find the place I know's gonna work.
And that was the whole name of the game with this one, was just to keep things interesting with the background vocal production. There's a lot going on here. And then background vocals 3 through 5 is just extra layers of the keep trucking thing, which you can see here, you know, it's same thing with the processing, noise gate, virtual mix rack on the warm vocal preset, adaptive limiter for some extra boost, some channel EQ to high pass and clean some stuff up, and the RVox. So here, if I just loop this chorus here.
Keep trucking, keep trucking. Keep trucking, keep trucking. Keep trucking, keep trucking.
And so we got 3 octaves of keep truckins going on.
Keep trucking, keep trucking. Keep trucking, keep trucking.
And I think I just did my Batman voice on this last one.
Keep trucking. Keep trucking.
Which is hilarious and was also very fun. I was like, you know, I just need something to really sit down there. And I was like, you know, what would Christian Bale's Batman do? Keep trucking. Where is he? So that continues on.
Keep trucking. Keep trucking.
I think it's a little more ridiculous as it goes because I was getting a little loopy.
Keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking. Keep trucking.
That's funny, just out of context. But in context, it sounds really nice. So let's just play this last chorus with all of the vocals.
I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking, keep trucking. There's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way. away. I gotta keep trucking, keep trucking, till I find the place I know's gonna work for me.
Yeah. And this was a fun thing that I did. I ended up sending it out to the Waves Harmony, which has been a very fun thing that I have enjoyed doing over the last however long it's been since the Waves Harmonies come out. But it's just such a cool way to add other layers without adding too much, other audio. And for me, my voice can only go so high. And, a lot of times I'm producing when I'm on the road, and I have to end up saving myself a little bit so that I can perform that night. So I can't be out there just screaming and trying to hit stuff that's out of my range and then still be responsible for the show that evening. It's just not possible. So this was a fun thing that I did just off the lead vocal, I believe.
Trucking, keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking. Keep trucking, 'cause there's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way.
Which is insane that it's that clean, right? So here's what I'm doing there. I'm just adding 2 simulated vocals with the Waves Harmony, an octave up from the main vocal, right? And it's coming in and out in places.
Trucking, keep trucking on, baby.
And I've got it set to chromatic so that it's just going to pick that note. You can set it to be whatever key you want, which is really nice if you're adding in harmonies, which I've done on some other tunes, namely Hurricane was my first exploration into the Waves Harmony plugin. Had some really fun results with that on that tune, which you can also find in Sessions with Steve. Here is this. And then all I did was I automated the bypass on the send itself. So
keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, 'cause there's no one gonna save me.
You can see it right here, right?
Keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way. I gotta keep trucking.
And you'll see these 2, bus 30 and 31. 31's the vocal driver. They're just flashing on and off like Christmas lights. It's a really fun way to mix. You have to remember that you did it, but it's really fun and saved me a lot of time and a lot of energy getting that in there. So let's just listen. And again, I have the print in here for you. And then there's one other thing that I did with the vocal delay. I ended up having the Echo Boy, which is a very fun plugin from Sound Toys. I just had this going, and it's the Echoplex preset, and then I just tweaked it a little bit so that I could have this kind of just quarter note pulse delay off the lead vocal. And I just automated the send here to only push it out in certain sections. So I wanted every time that I said truckin' for it to go truckin', right? And 4 times or 5 times or whatever. So here we go. Here you can hear this.
I just gotta keep trucking on, baby. I just gotta keep trucking, 'cause there's no one gonna save me. Gotta keep pushing through the night and day till I find me a better way. I gotta keep trucking till I find the place.
And that was just a really fun thing to do, leaving a space for a quarter note delay to come in only at a certain time. And instead of having to take my truck in audio file and just copy it to a new track or 4 new tracks and put it in that way, using the Echo Boy was just a really great tool, which was fun. And then also there's some vocal bandpass ad-libs, which, here we've got the 1-knob filter on there that I used for the bandpass, the normal channel EQs, a bandpass there, and then a pitch shifter, which I just took one of them down. This is just one. Here, I'll just loop this for you. So without anything.
Sleeping for most of my life, letting fear keep me from ever trying, keep the world from passing me by, wanna get it.
So all I did was take these regions from the lead vocal, and I did fly this over, and then use the adaptive limiter, these channel EQs. I ended up bandpassing this one.
Sleeping for most of my life, letting fear.
That wasn't enough for me. Here's, again, the pop vocal male legendary for a little more thing. So here's with the filter.
Sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear keep
without the band pass,
sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear.
which it gives it a little more of a honk, right? So the band pass and the filter together really
Sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear.
kept it nice and nasal. I did not have the R-Box on there, but I did have the pitch shifter. And I had not done this before, but I wanted 2 vocals, but I didn't want to have to add another track. So all I did was I put the Logic pitch shifter on here, put it down a fourth or 5 semitones, right? And then just adjusted the mix to 35%. And the timing, I put it on drums because I want, even though it's a vocal, I want the timing to be as tight as a drum hit would be, right?
Sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the.
And all of a sudden, you've got these parallel fourths going that I thought was really, really cool. Without.
Sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the.
Cool.
Sleeping for most of my life. Letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the world from passing me by. Wanna get it.
Yeah. And so the prints are there for you. Also, the lead vocal delay is there as well. We've got prints of all of this stuff. Lead vocal driver prints. I'm running this off of the aux for right now.
For most of my life. Letting fear keep me from ever trying. Keep the world from passing me by. Wanna get more.
Cool. Organ. We've got the Nord here running off of MIDI from Logic. Here's the organ as it came in.
I just gotta keep.
Virtual mix rack on the piano setting. Because for all intents and purposes, it's handling the same sonic region. I got the L2 for some boost. And then here is nice sound. Just a little brighter, a little more low end, and a scoop in the middle so that it can kind of sit around everything. And also, again, I used the binaural panner, kind of tossed it to the back and kept it wide so that it could just sit there and support. And it didn't have to, it's not doing anything super interesting. The organ's there just for a little extra air and lift and some tasties, you know, a little extra moving air. You can see how it changes the sound when I do this. Out of the way, in the way. Your focus ends up going elsewhere when it's out of the way like that, but if you listen for the organ, you can still hear it, which is nice. All right, now, here we go, guitars. My incredible girlfriend, Kim Melville, hey baby, absolutely kicked ass on this. She recorded it here in Paris, where I currently am. She just knocked this out of the park. It was great. And she used the Archetype Gojira plugin from Neural DSP and gave me stereo versions of all of this stuff. So it turned out great. And I didn't end up having to do much of anything on this from the files that she gave me. I added a noise gate onto the individual tracks just to tighten things up a little bit more because there was a little release from the Gojira plugin itself. And then all I did was add some analog channel on the summing stack, analog channel AC202 from MicDSP, just to give it a little bit of a vintage analog input sound. So, and drive it a little bit. So here's the guitar one. And you can hear just, you know, little string noise here and guitar buzzing. It's gained up pretty high. So even to have that minimal amount is impressive. But instead of going through and chopping everything up, doing crazy surgery with it, I just tossed on a noise gate and it solved all the problems. And then all I did was end up sending it out to some reverb, right? Some room tone. Dry. It's got a little bit of room tone in there. And then I also sent it out of an aux to a pedal board for guitar 1. I'm sending it out to a pedal board just to mirror the guitar on the other side using some fuzz and just getting it extra fuzzy on the chorus. So you can hear it just come in 2, 3, 4. And that's just like clicking on a boost. So there's the print in there for that for you as well, if you would like to use it. Or if you have Logic, you can just use it's the stock pedal board and the happy face fuzz. Guitar 2, same thing. The noise gate, analog channel, noise gate on the things. This was the Archetype Gojira as well. Together, just massive wall of guitars. We've also got a Valhalla Verb auxiliary print here for you if you want to use it. And then here, when we get into the guitar solo, which was shreddy and fun, check out. Guitar solo kicks ass. All I did was just a little bit of EQ on the guitars and then ran it through the CLA guitar, shrunken. Sent it to the lustrous plates, which I then high passed. Just for a little extra room on there and a little tape delay. A half note triplet, a little long delay. And this is the same thing that I've done on Out of Your Mind and a few other tracks, including Family is Forever, is I took it and put it up an octave using a whammy from Logic so that you get... You get this nice upper octave layer that just kind of helps it cut through the mix a little bit more. And it's there and it just sounds nasty and fun. So I had a lot of fun working on this. And Kim's playing, her performance and the tone was just so much fun to work with as well. And she knocked it out of the park. Here's the solo with everything in it. Check it out. Ramp up on the snare. I just gotta keep trucking, keep trucking on, baby. I just got... And to me, the biggest challenge with the song was you always want to kind of push up to the next part of the tune and keep the energy moving forward, but you also don't want to start the song super quiet and the song way too loud and crunched. So you have to know where to push and pull. So what helps with that, in my opinion, is seeing what should be taking the lead. Once we get back into out of the first chorus, right? The guitars come in super crazy. You got all these vocals and everything's just going along. You get to the re-intro, focus on the shaker, focus on the percussion, let everything else take a back seat for a second. And then you have more fun and more room to grow back up again. The bridge, lean on the guitars, lean on the background vocals, lean on the effects. And then the chorus comes back in and it's guitar time again. Then the riff comes in and you let everything else kind of jump and get out of the way for the guitars to do their thing. Guitar solo takes the lead. Everything else can come back while you're focused on the guitar solo so that you have some room to ramp back up again into the last chorus and into the end. And with this one, we end with a little cha-cha. That is Keep Truckin'. Look for it everywhere on streaming. Have a good time mixing this. Tag me in your mixes so that I can see them or shoot them over to me via email and I will take a listen. And very excited to see what you're coming up with. Have a wonderful time mixing and we'll see you on the next one.